All right, let's get into it. This is the module where theory stops and the real world begins. We're going to stop talking to ourselves inside our own heads and start gathering actual external data. This is all about validation and mapping that complex web of people and relationships that can either make your business or break it before you even get started. Let's do this.
So we're going to kick things off by tackling the single most dangerous myth in all of entrepreneurship. You know, it's a line from a movie that has, I swear, killed more startups than any recession ever has.
Look, let me be crystal clear about this. That phrase, it is a complete and total lie. It is a fantasy that will do nothing but bankrupt you. Believing this is the fastest way to turn all of your passion and all of your savings into just another cautionary tale.
Here's the brutal truth. The startup graveyard isn't filled with bad products. It's overflowing with incredible, beautifully engineered products that nobody actually wanted. It's full of entrepreneurs who fell so in love with their own idea that they never stopped to ask if anyone else cared. They built perfect solutions for problems nobody had, or at least nobody was willing to pay to solve. Remember this, passion is not a business plan.
So here's our mission, right? We are going to get way ahead of that failure. We're going to use data, not hope, to prove that there is real demand for what you're selling before you spend another minute or another dollar building the supply. This is how we stay out of that graveyard. Okay, first tool up, let's start by sizing your real market opportunity. We need to figure out just how big your playground actually is and, way more importantly, which tiny corner of it you can realistically win. This is where you'll want to have document number 5 handy.
First up, you've got TAM, the total addressable market. This is the whole pie. So if you're starting a dog walking business, your TAM is every single dog owner on the entire planet. Now, what's so interesting about this huge, impressive number? For a startup like you, it's almost completely useless. It's a vanity metric. That's it.
Next is SAM, your serviceable available market. Now this is the slice of that giant pie that you can actually get to. So for our dog walker, if you live in, say, Fresno, your SAM is all the dog owners in Fresno. See? We're getting a little bit closer to reality, but we're not quite there yet. And that brings us to the most important one of all, SOM, the serviceable obtainable market. This isn't just a slice of the pie. This is the actual bite you can realistically take and eat. You know, given your team, your money, your marketing, who can you actually get to sign up and become a paying customer in the next year or so?
Listen, you're going to hear investors and VCs throw the word TAM around all the time. But for you, right here, right now, SOM is the only number that actually matters. It's the number that determines whether you can pay your bills next month. Your entire survival depends on capturing this one, small, specific, and defensible piece of the market. But knowing your SOM is totally useless if those people don't actually have a problem that they are desperate to get rid of. We have to move from assumption to evidence. Is what you're selling a nice-to-have or is it a need-to-have painkiller? Your worksheet is designed to force you to see the difference. A red flag? That's an assumption. It sounds like, oh, I would totally use this. Guess what? You are not your customer. Or everyone complains about this. So what? Complaining is free. It is not a market signal. A green light is evidence. It's hard data. It sounds like, I interviewed 20 people and 15 of them said they would pay me for this. Even better, people are already paying money for a solution that's way worse than mine. That right there proves a willingness to pay. That is a green light.
Okay, so we've sized the market and we've validated the pain. But business doesn't happen in a spreadsheet. Now we have to map the human element. You're operating in a whole ecosystem of people who can either help you succeed or they can hurt you.
And to do this, we're going to pull a really critical tool straight from formal project management theory. This isn't some fluffy business buzzword. The official definition of a stakeholder is anyone who can affect or is affected by your project. Now notice it doesn't just say customer. This is a much, much bigger and more important universe that you have to navigate.
So let me ask you a very direct question. Who out there has the power to kill your entire project with a single phone call or just by saying no? If you're only thinking about your customers, you are leaving yourself wide open to a surprise attack.
This is exactly why we have to map out what I call the hidden stakeholders. We're talking about internal folks like your spouse, your family. They're taking on this financial and emotional risk right there with you. Then you've got regulatory stakeholders, the city permit office, the IRS. They could not care less about your grand vision. They only care if you've checked the right boxes. And of course, your competitors, who will definitely react when you show up on their turf. Ignoring any of these people isn't just a mistake, it's actively planning for failure.
So once you've identified everybody who has a stake in your game, you need a strategy to deal with them.
You can't treat everyone the same. You've got to prioritize your energy. This is where the stakeholder register, that's document number 7, becomes your best friend.
We use this super powerful but really simple tool called the power/interest matrix. For every single stakeholder you listed, you're going to plot them based on 2 simple questions. 1, how much do they care about your project? That's their interest. And 2, how much power do they have to impact it? That's their influence. This little grid tells you exactly how you should manage each relationship.
Let's make this real. Case study 1, your spouse. Their interest level? High. Your time and your money directly affect them. Their influence level? High. Let's be honest, they have absolute veto power over this whole project. That makes them a key player. So your strategy? You manage that relationship closely. We're talking weekly check-ins, total transparency with the finances, involving them in the big decisions.
Now, let's take a totally different example. The city permit office. What's their interest in your little startup? Low. You are just another file in a massive pile on their desk. But their influence, it is high. They can shut your entire operation down in an afternoon with one piece of paper. That puts them in the keep satisfied box. Your strategy here has nothing to do with passion or winning them over. It's about strict, boring compliance and being incredibly prompt and professional. Meet their needs and stay off their radar.
So there you have it. That's the framework. We've talked about sizing your market, validating the pain, and mapping the entire universe of people who can help you or sink you. Now, it's time for you to stop listening to me and start gathering your own intelligence.
Here is your mission. Download documents 5, 6, and 7. Do the back of the napkin math on your SOM. Brainstorm every single stakeholder you can possibly think of. And this is the most important part, you have to get out of the building. Go have that tough, honest conversation with your spouse. Go to your city's website and figure out the local laws and permit requirements. Look, the data you're about to gather this week is the final piece of the puzzle we need. Because next time, we bring it all together. We're going to use this real-world data to forge your one-sentence business plan and finally face the decision tree for that ultimate go/no-go call. Now, get to work.